I trusted myself with everything except love. That pattern was repeating in my life for years. And maybe you can identify yourself with what I'm saying. I consider myself this capable, intelligent woman. And I had managed to change my life and move countries, started my life over and over again, going after the things I desired. And I felt like I was this independent, powerful woman. But when it came to love, I ended up always in the same kind of relationships, always in the same kind of situationships where there was no emotional availability, there was no depth, they were always was kind of like the same person dressed in a different costume, but I kept attracting these same people in my life over and over again. And I really thought that it was the fact that I didn't know how to do relationships, that I was bad at relationships, that was just not my area. And I remember staying in these situations that I knew deep down, I really knew deep down that they were not for me, because those relationships weren't making me feel loved or cared about in the way that I was giving to the other person. They weren't making me feel that it was okay to be myself. I felt like I was always hiding something. I was always trying to not be too much. I was walking on eggshells about what to say, what to do, because I didn't want to come up as this woman who felt too much or who was too much. And I stayed for years. Not because I didn't know better, because honestly, in my mind, deep inside, I knew that I wasn't meant to be there. I knew that was not gonna be the relationship that I ended up with. But I kept waiting and just justifying behaviors that weren't maybe not okay, but because waiting was less painful than just saying my needs out loud and telling the truth and asking the uncomfortable questions, because I knew that doing those things was going to risk the whole situationship that I had going on. And at least I had something. That's how I felt. And if you're feeling that way, there's no shame. We've all been there. Thinking that we had to hold on to this, even though it's not really okay. But we have to hold on to this because, I don't know, maybe there's nothing better out there. And you know what that did? I was trying to convince myself that was what love would look like. That maybe that was it. That maybe love looked like just, shrinking a little bit of yourself to fitting, compromising, not really saying all the things that you thought, because I thought relationships were about like keeping the peace, being chill. But time and time again, what staying in those places did for me was just to make me feel smaller, to stop paying attention to my needs and to give this love kind of like the center of my attention, putting everything else on hold to try to keep this afloat. Like all my energy was put into trying to make this work because I thought relationships meant trying to make things work no matter what. And you know what? That was exhausting because I was always waiting. I was waiting for the other person to change. I was waiting for the other person to finally realize that I was great, that they actually loved me. I was waiting for them to call. I was waiting for them to want to hang out with me. And that's not a place that any of us deserve to be in. Just waiting for things to happen, waiting for life to change, waiting for the other person to give you the love, the respect, the care, the attention. That's not a way to be in a relationship. And honestly, I didn't know better. I knew what was going on, but I wasn't able to just break the pattern. Because this is what most people don't talk about. They give you all the tactics, all the dating strategies, like how to date better, how to do relationships better. But the thing is, when you're not able to choose and to say, hey, this is not working for me, I need to move on, it's not because you lack awareness, it's because you lack self-trust. As I told you at the beginning, I could trust myself in every other area of my life. But when it came to love, I disappeared. And I realized that was because I was putting so much emphasis on love being this crucial part of my life that at some point I lost perspective of it. And I was just trying to make things work for the sake of it. If you ever found yourself in that situation, that's normal. Because we've been told time and time again that we should have a partner, that something is wrong with us if we don't have a partner, that it's not okay for women over 30 to be single. And we keep these narratives and we internalize these narratives, and then we try to make everything on our power to make things work with people who doesn't deserve us. And it's not even about them, it's about us. And I realized that things really started to change for me when I started focusing on myself. And I know that sounds cliche, and I know that sounds like, oh yeah, you should love yourself and then everything else will fall into place. But it's a cliche because it is what it is. And when you start strengthening that relationship with yourself, when you start enjoying your life, whether or not romantic love is in there, that's when you actually, first you enjoy more, because why are we here if it's not to enjoy our lives more? We enjoy more. You're going to enjoy yourself more. You're going to stop waiting for things to happen, and you're going to start making things happen. And in consequence, when you start when you stay in that frequency, when you start living your life to the fullest, independently of your relationship status, that is actually when you start attracting people on that same level. When you start maybe seeing people that you weren't even able to see before. And even if you don't find that love just yet, at least you're gonna be enjoying your life to the fullest. You are gonna be making your life a beautiful place. So when love comes, if love comes, it's gonna find you as a beautiful, whole, thriving woman, not as someone who has her life on hold, waiting for something else to come and do something. And if you also been trapped in this kind of pattern for a long time, if you feel like you really want love but you don't want it to be your whole life, and you want to learn how to build that self-trust so you don't abandon yourself anymore for love just for the sake of keeping it, I'm hosting a free masterclass called Why You Keep Staying Even When You Know It's Wrong, when I'm going to be teaching you and explaining this pattern, why it's happening, and how you can finally get over it. You have the link to sign up here below. I hope to see you there.